Welcome to Space Socket. A 28-year-old woman says she won't invest time in a man, only in her business. Kevin Samuel steps in to check her. Let's dive in.
Hello, how
Oh
are you?
shit. I'm good.
Were
How
you
you
expecting to get
doing?
on?
No, but
Oh,
let's
that's
go.
all right.
What's up?
That's all right. It's
I'm
okay.
like,
We're
oh
cool.
shit.
How you doing?
Okay, let me go. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. How old are you?
I'm 28. I'm a prop my phone
28.
down. Yes,
Okay. Um, are you married or are you single?
I am single. I got a boyfriend though. I'm not.
Okay. So how long you guys been together?
A year and a half.
Okay. Do you want to get married one day?
No,
Okay. That's fine. Uh, so curious. Any children, by the way?
no children.
Okay. So as a black woman with no children, what is life going to look like for you at 55 years old? Not
Um,
money wise, socially.
socially, I don't know. I'm pretty introverted.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of just the small circle I have now, so I plan on like maintaining the circle that I have now.
Okay.
Yeah,
What city do you live in, if you don't mind?
I'm in Chicago.
Or Chicago. So at 50, okay, my friends that I had in high school, I don't talk to any of them. We're
Yeah,
friends
I'm
on Facebook, and a
right.
few of the people I went to college with, we're in contact with. But you change friend groups every 5 to 10 years. So at 55, do you want children?
Yes.
Curious. Then help me understand why do you want kids and not a husband?
I just really not into the idea of marriage. And neither is my boyfriend right now. We're building like a good relation. We've built a good relationship with one another, so I don't. Marriage is not a goal of either of ours. Um,
Okay, but do you? Okay,
and also, I didn't grow up like seeing married couples. That's just not a thing
but
that's in
but
on.
but you but if you're born in this country, you know that marriage has a lot of. Okay,
Yeah,
why? I don't understand, and I'm really trying to understand why so many black women are terrified of marriage.
I'm not necessarily terrified. Like
Well,
I
it's not
said,
something you want to do or look forward to. It's like whether terrified is the right word. You're supposed to look forward to family. And
yeah.
now it's like, well, I'll have the kids, and I'll even have a man, but I don't want the structure of marriage. And why?
I just feel like I can be. Well, I know one of the benefits is just like the wealth aspect of it. Combining incomes, but I feel like me and my partner are on a trajectory to both be very successful and kind of won't need to depend on each other financially, if that makes sense.
Mm-mm. I don't understand. Black communities at the bottom. Okay,
Hmm.
right? So you're talking about being a higher, a well-off black woman. He's a well-off black man. Those are just two single people. Why do other groups get married and we don't?
I don't know, but also like I said, this is not nothing I grew up under or kind of seen. So
Well,
it was never a
we grew up in
conversation.
slavery, and then
Okay.
after we were free, we were the most married. We had an 80% marital rate up to 1965. See, what I'm hearing is it's like black women today, like yourself, are almost like being married doesn't really seem like it's that big a deal. Because when you start talking about the tax benefits and all this other kind of stuff, it's like, well, a couple $300. But how often have you watched my show?
I watch it pretty often.
Do you see all the women over 45 and 50 who are terrified?
Yeah.
That's you. Did you go to college?
Yes.
What'd you get your degree in?
I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in corporate communication. I know. You already know.
PhD.
Yeah.
So you would have the kids.
Yeah, but I'm not even set on kids. Like, I don't even know if I want to have kids, like, for sure. Like,
Okay.
there's a possibility, but, like, right now, I'm kind of, like, focusing on, like, my career and
Well,
getting into,
what is your career going to be in?
um, hopefully, entrepreneurship. I'm working,
Oh my God. This is the archetype. This is the entrepreneur, y'all. The attorney.
but not just that. Like, right now, I'm in education. I'm a teacher, and,
But dear, no offense. Are you making over six figures?
no,
Are you making over 90,000,
no,
80,000,
no,
70,000,
no,
60,000,
no,
50,000,
no,
over 40,000?
yes,
Man, you're a middle class. You're right there like most black women.
yes,
Hold
understood.
on, listen. Let me really try to nail this down. You're 28, 27, 28.
28.
74% of black women earn less than 50,000. You have a degree in psychology and communications. You are not going to be, and this is why I tell you guys, so many of our women think entrepreneurialism is going to jump them past the structure. So many of our women are just chaotic, don't want to deal with structure. You know, just like I know, the careers that pay six figures are physicians, attorneys, accountants, engineers, things that require professional certification, schooling, and lots of study. You know that, right?
Yes.
The only jobs that can stand to pay that amount of money and not require that level of intelligence, schooling, and discipline is something sales related. That's why so many of our women end up going into some sort of real estate or some sort of entrepreneurialism, which is another way of saying I can't go out into a company and demand $250,000 salary, but I'm going to go out into the market and through my own accord, through my level of competency, I'm going to get it from the market. And it doesn't work. 9% of black women earn more than $75,000. Why is this important? Because, man, you don't want to be married. Cool. You don't want kids. Fine. But at earning less than $50,000 a year, you are already off track. Here's an example I often give. A woman earning $50,000 in Chicago or Dallas at age 25, and she gets an inflationary raise every year to where that 50,000 doesn't lose any buying power, right? And she saves $200 a month. And she's working from 25 to 65. That's 40 years. 40 years, no kids, $50,000, not losing any money to inflation, and she's knocking away $200. Boom, 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 boom. If that woman has a life expectancy of age 85, 65 to 85, she's going to be short. She is going to run out of money by the age of 73. She is going to need an additional $750,000 to live, not thrive, to survive. That's why I said that's you. You're making less than 50. And the likelihood of you becoming a top 5% earner is zero. Not zero, less than 1%.
Okay.
Because, because if it was as simple as becoming, in order to make the kind of money to have $2.4 million in retirement, you have to be making close to $95,000 right now and saving it. This is why marriage is so important, because women in general have been made taxpayers. They separated you from your men, and now the companies and systems are making money off of you. And when you age out, what are you starting to see? women in our age group starting to realize they're going to die alone. So I'm just saying, if you're going to be single, you gotta know you're going to be in the top 10% of all earners, and then manage your money to pay. Because who's going to pay for you? If you need some money, if you need something after retirement, you can't work another. You can't work. No one will hire you. You're 65 years old, and you need money. Where you gonna get it from?
Hopefully, the investments that I've made, my savings,
You
I
run out
hear
of money.
you.
You run out of money, like most people. Where are you gonna get the money from?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I kind of understand. I
Okay,
understand the
so let's
question.
say let's say a man is working. Okay, has no family, no children, and he has his and he's saved whatever, and he's invested whatever, but it comes retirement, and he has $1 million, and he's trying to live on that $1 million. He runs out of money. He still has to pay He still has to pay groceries, medical care. As your age gets more expensive, you still got to live.
Can those and the money that I've saved thus far cannot that still not be invest in something else to make me more money?
No, you don't make it. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have enough money to invest to get any real kind of dividend. See, that's what I mean. In order to make investments, you have to have capital. You're living paycheck to paycheck. Where's the money going to come to you invest? Where do you have $100,000 that you can just set aside to let grow for 10 years? Where do you have $50,000, $20,000,
But that's
$5,000?
I'm working towards that though.
But that's the thing, ma'am. See, that's my point. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm not,
No,
you're,
I
you're,
yeah,
you're you're
I
working
respect what
towards
you're
it.
saying.
And you're putting your money in what? Savings?
Yes,
Where are you
and
investing?
stocks. I'm getting into stocks and doing research on that.
Stocks. What kind of return are you getting? What's your average rate of return on your investment portfolio?
I'm not sure. I just
Well, the
started.
rule of 72 is what you need to understand. And if you're putting your money in savings, take whatever the interest rate is, divide by 72, and that's how long it'll take your money to double.
Okay.
You need to be putting, and in order for investments to work, let's say you put money in a savings account and it's giving you 2%. 2%. It'll take you 36 years for $1,000 to become $2,000. 10 to
Understood.
12% is an average yield for, I just say typical, not an IRA, but 10 to 12%. But that money has to sit there.
Right.
You're not investing in anything. So where is the lump sum of money going to come that you're going to be able to invest that you can't touch that's going to provide residual income? You don't make enough money to do it.
Well,
And this is one of
I'm
the,
in a go
and
ahead.
one, and you can say you're learning and this and such and so forth, but this is one of the biggest problems. The financial literacy in our community is low. You think, where's the capital going to come from to invest? Is it going to come from your job?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you don't save your way into rich. You invest. You don't make enough
No.
money.
But okay. That's fair. If you're speaking from a broader, like from the outside looking in. I've been put in position by my family to be able to
Okay, you have
save
inheritance?
well.
Inheritance?
No, not inheritance, but just a good financial family member who's helping me out, and I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, or I'm not
So
struggling.
somebody else, so is this person gonna, is this somebody older than you?
Yes,
So fine. But man,
I definitely understand what you're saying, but it's just like it's still speaking from like a
it's from an absolutely iron core I mean, rock solid standpoint. So many of our women think magically when it comes to money.
But I'm not thinking magically. I'm
Somebody else's
thinking
money, but bottom line is this, man. This is one thing that is true. Somebody else's money has to do it.
that's fine.
And that's not cool. And that's the thing. Where can a man do what you're doing? A man can't go out in the world and become an average earner and think he's going to retire and live and be able. When a man runs out of money, the street is waiting for him, homelessness. And for women like yourself, you're allowed to rely on other people, right, wrong, or indifferent. And that's really what so many of our women think. Somebody else will take care of it.
Well, that's
Versus,
not my thought.
huh?
That's not my thought that someone else would take care of it. Right now, I'm given the opportunity
Yeah.
to. I don't.
Why does this? How about this? How about this? Let's not worry about this. Let's not get too personal. Why does this make more sense than the traditional way that's been proven to work? Getting married, joining families, and having an extended family with kids and cousins and nephews and a community to rely on.
Well, like I'm saying,
That's worked for thousands of years. And for black people, it's worked since slavery. Why are so many of our sisters like you content to have to roll such a dice to be single? Why is being unattached, not under legal constraints, not under the structure of marriage? Why is that a more appealing offer than what you're saying? Because to men, it sounds like this is absolute insanity. But I want more people to understand this is why black men aren't marrying. It's not because black men don't want to marry. Our women are anti-marriage. Our middle class earning women are really anti-marriage. And you're not rude, you're not being argumentative, you're not masculine, but this is baked into the culture. Where do women who are not black think like you do in their culture? Do white women think this way? Asian women, Hispanic women, Middle Eastern women?
No, they get married.
So
So
why though? Why do they do it? And women like yourself who can see it and see the security and the everything that comes with, why is this more preferable? Because this is a preference. This is a choice for you.
yeah. So are you asking my
Yeah,
person?
I'm
So
really trying to understand
personally,
why this
for
is a
me,
preference.
is one, like you said, the legal aspect of it, and I didn't grow up in a married household. I don't have a large family or
Okay.
family that I've seen married. Now, my great grandparents were married for like 70 plus years, but it still
Right.
was like that's the only aspect of marriage I've seen. Um,
Well, then your
but
mother, were your mother and father not married?
no, they
Did your
were,
mother go to college?
she has an associate.
Did your father go to college?
No.
Okay, you didn't see college graduates either, but you got a master's. That's not a reason, man. That's an excuse a lot of our women use. I didn't see marriages. Well, guess what? Y'all came from maids and factory workers.
Well, but
Now,
also,
listen to the
I'm
line.
listening.
Y'all came from high school graduates for the most part. And now the thing that many women, black women in particular, pride themselves on. I'm a PhD. I got my degree. I got my master's. I got my PhD. And y'all didn't come from scholars. So if you can make that change, and you say my mother and father weren't married, but my grandparents were,
They,
what do the women back there know that you guys don't know?
I don't know, but the knowledge was not passed down.
No, it was no. It
And
was not passed
also,
down. It was no. Your mother did. Okay, your mother's generation failed you, and you can see it wasn't passed down. Why are you replicating a failure?
it's not necessarily
It is a failure.
replicating.
It is a failure, ma'am. It's a
No, I'm
failure.
not saying that it's not
Listen.
a
Listen.
failure.
You said the knowledge wasn't passed down, right?
Correct.
That's a failure.
But I don't think it's from my mom.
Okay. All right.
But also, when you look at statistics and you looking into numbers, the success rate of marriage is less than the failure rate. So
Right, but who's
that's
filing?
not
Okay, divorce
appealing
rate,
from the
divorce rate, divorce rate.
yes.
Who's filing divorce in the black community? Men or women?
I'm not sure.
80% of divorces in the black community are filed by women.
Okay.
Man, your mother's generation failed you guys.
No,
They, oh,
I think
listen,
that
listen,
is a
listen.
as
I need you to listen. This is why I
I
want to
agree
be.
with you,
I've said
but
this now. This is why I'm doing this interview, guys, because it doesn't require somebody being rude, but it still is caustic. You got a college-educated black woman with a master's, and you're getting ratchet outcomes. You might as well, listen to what I'm about to say. You might as well have grown up in the projects with a crackhead mama and a heroin addicted daddy and on Section 8 for the outcomes you're getting. You're just as single, just as alone, and unprotected, unmoored, no structure. Now, you understand the structure of going to college and getting a degree, whether you use it or not, so much so that you went back and got another one. The knowledge didn't get passed from your mother to you, but it got passed from your grandmother, your great grandmother, and your grandmother. And until you young ladies and women start judging your mothers harshly for not raising you to be wives, they have put the women of our community have groomed the young women to be independent, facing the world in a confrontational, give it all to me. And unfortunately, you're 27 and making less than $50,000 a year, and you think you got time. You think you got time to invest, you got time to figure it out. Something will happen to where, and you don't. And I ask, where are the non-black women who do this? They go get married. And you still haven't said whether you were raised in a marriage or not, what do other races of women see in marriage that you don't see? What do you think they see?
I would assume the benefit of it.
And what would that be? What would those some of those benefits be?
I guess financial is more financial to me than anything. I don't.
Well, if black people traditionally were kept from education, not allowed to go to school, so on and so forth, why did so many black women get the college bug? Where'd that come from?
School. I grew up in a household with teachers. It wasn't a conversation of find a career after high school. It's what college you're going to.
Yeah, but
Um,
where'd that come from now? Because we don't come, black people prior to we went to rated about 10% prior, right around the Cosby's. We really weren't in college like that. Where'd that come from?
um,
Huh?
I'm not sure.
It came from your mothers emulating other women, white women. We're gonna go there. Black women look at white women for their cues. But the one thing you're not looking for is white women get to stay with their men. We didn't need college back when your grandmother was a domestic and my grandfather was a domestic and my grandfather worked in a factory. We needed each other and Jesus. We didn't need these degrees. Y'all are more educated and more alone. And it's not the men telling y'all to go to college, get a degree. It's the women. The women
That's
have told
valid.
you guys that being educated is freedom. And you don't want to get married because it's giving away your freedom. But what is the outcome? What is the outcome? You're not going to be in the top 10% of earners with your skill sets as it is right now. Psychology and communications. It's not law, medicine, engineering. Sure, there's a possibility, but the probability, statistical probability, is low. Just like the sister I talked about who started this broadcast, I wouldn't want to sacrifice my career for marriage. And that woman was a social worker making $55,000 a year. So men, black men hear this and they're like, how do we build? How do we marry? How do we move forward with women who, whether they say it the way you do or not, still the outcome, don't want to get married. Marriage is prison.
Well, I don't think like that. I think I just found a partner where we're on the same page. As far as marriage, as far as children, we're focused on building ourselves up
I get it.
financially right now.
I get it, but I still keep coming back to we didn't. If you studied colleges, didn't you? What some colleges are better than others, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Accreditation and all this other kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to invest your money. But going to college can help you become successful in life, right?
Yeah.
It can
But
help.
I know that you know, I also understand that you don't necessarily need college to be
But my
successful.
point is, you are willing to go do the study, the research, spend the money, make the investment, and make the sacrifice. Well, guess what? Have you done that regarding a man in marriage? We keep talking about what we don't know about marriage, but where have you
No,
studied it?
I have not done that.
But there you go. So don't talk about why you weren't raised, because just like that's my point. I'm trying to square that round it back. We didn't know about college. We didn't know about anything else. But the
I hear
ultimate
you.
thing is, it's like, well, now I got a man. Why did you study your man before? This has been great because this is all one place because you're not rude and I appreciate it. But my frustration is because so many of our women are so like you. They're like, I don't see any real value in marriage. I mean, I don't need to be married. I can have sex and I'm not called a slut or whatever, whatever. I'm not shamed. If I choose to, I can have children and I don't suffer any societal consequences from being a single mother or whatever. The financial benefits, well, I'm a regular middle class person. I don't know them. So if I don't know what I'm missing. My mother did okay. She survived. So I understand why it almost sounds like, well, why would we do it? But then you got to turn around and look at the women who were 50 years old saying, I wish somebody would have told me when I was her age that this ain't what it's about. Whatever you're talking about, man, I'm going to say this. Go study why non-black women get married. Why is marriage important? And it's beyond tax benefits. There are a lot of other benefits. And the reason I'm pushing this so much is because you're not a lawyer. You're not a doctor. You're a middle class, paycheck to paycheck working black woman.
I don't know why you
And
keep
I don't
saying
want to see you homeless in your elder years. And you can say, and I'm going to challenge you to go on this channel right now and see how many women, black women I've talked to, in your a similar position. And I say, what are you going to do? You know what their retirement plan is? Their kids.
that. I don't know. I ain't got no kids.
But I said, but the thing is, can you imagine a scenario like this? Let's say, God forbid, God calls your boyfriend home. You guys are together for whatever. He passes. He's on gone on to glory. Okay. All right. That means you'd have to find another man. But if you choose to keep going down the path and you become an entrepreneur and do what you do, whatever, all right. But if you still are 65, 70 years old and you run out of money, you get an unexpected illness. I'm a cancer survivor. All it takes is one illness to bankrupt you. You run out of money. What happens when you run out of money?
I'm not sure. I mean, at this, if I run out of money, I'm broke. I don't have the means to care for myself.
And then where do you go?
Child to a shelter. I'm not. What?
No. See, there's not enough shelter space.
Oh my
See,
God.
that's the thing. They don't see, ma'am, when you run out of money, as a woman, you'll never think about being homeless. If you run
Right.
out of money, shelters cannot, you live in Chicago. Is there enough shelter space for all the people who need it?
I don't know. It's like I'm assuming no, because
Okay,
there's a lot of homeless people.
here's my problem too with us. I'm gonna move you to the side because you've been really nice, but here's the thing: so many of us are not serious. We just don't, so many women just don't think. Y'all like, I don't know this, I don't know that. Man, you're a middle class, average earning woman. It's not like you're rich, and whoever's doing whatever, whatever. You need to know what the system is. There's not enough shelter space for the people who need shelters today. The largest growing contingent of homeless people are women and children. And if anybody runs out of money and they can't work, where do they go? Where do they live? If there's no shelter space, no Jesus house, there's nothing, they're full. Where do you go?
On the street. Club 50.
Why do you think you have homeless right now? Because there's not enough space. Can you honestly say you can imagine yourself being homeless in
No,
your,
I can't. No,
and
I
that's the
absolutely not.
fucking problem. We need to start turning the cameras to the, you know what? We need to start turning the cameras to the actual homeless women right now. So y'all can start seeing women in their 50s and 60s. Homeless. I did a broadcast in December, 55-year-old sister with a master's who lived with her mother and her aunt talked about she was 2 weeks away from being homeless. Man, if you're unmarried, no children, you need to make enough money to make sure you can live until the end of your time. There's not going to be enough, there's no shelter space. The Social Security ain't going to do it. Nobody to take you in. You will be homeless. Homeless, elderly, and aging. That's what it is. And gentlemen, women have been divorced from the reality of the harshness of life to where this is happening in China, I mean in Korea, in Japan, in Europe, where women are average earning women and they're getting to the point where they're in their 40s and 50s and they're not married and they're looking to the government for stability. And the government is made up of who? Tax-paying citizens. And men are like, why the hell are we gonna pay for you? If you ain't gonna be with a man, why should men pay for you through the system? This conversation is to serve not just you, it's to serve all women. I don't understand. I'll ask you this question. A woman, a female, a woman's primary protection in any world is what?
I'm assuming a husband.
A
I'm
man.
okay, a man.
A man. He's always been your primary protection. Always. And we've civilized the world in general to where your man, even though you got a boyfriend, you cool, but your man is really your job. So where y'all
What
don't
do you
even
mean by
think about us as y'all don't think about us as being necessary for survival.
no, I definitely see the value that my significant other has added to my life. Financially, all of that. But
But then why, if you see that, then why is marriage not there if it produces more benefit?
I hear you, but like both have to want to get married. If neither one of us wants to get married and we're
That's why I say I'm not gonna judge either way,
like I said,
man.
no, I'll go back
You
and do
better
my
make enough
research.
money. Like
But
here's the
yeah,
thing.
we're on that
That's
path.
what you're saying at 27. What I'm saying right now is racism, white supremacy, whatever you want. We don't need the Klan anymore. We don't need racism, white supremacy. Y'all are completely away from us.
Y'all as in who?
Black women.
Away from black men?
You enjoy us on your terms.
That's not valid for me. I if you're speaking
Ma'am,
for
okay,
a whole, then
okay, judge, okay. I don't know your specific situation and it doesn't
right.
matter. But anybody listening to this conversation can hear a woman who is with a man because she chooses to be. He's not required. He has this benefit, and maybe you don't want to get into the details of your life. Fine, but the problem is The next lowest group of married women is 54%. We are necessary for your thriving and survival in life. And we wouldn't have got here if you hadn't said you wouldn't wanted kids. If you just said, I don't want to be married, I don't want any kids, it'd been like, Well, as soon as you said you wanted kids, I'm like, well, then what the hell is, what's going on?
Well, like I said, that's still up in the air. I'm not totally sure. I
Okay.
hear you. I understand.
Well, either way, if you don't want
But
kids, that's cool. If you don't want marriage, cool. The bottom line is still this: you better make sure you have enough money. That's all. And here's the thing: this is for
she
everybody.
will.
You, no, not we.
No, I
You.
said she, as in myself. Yes, I will.
$2.4 million cash. You'll have that at
Yeah,
65.
I DM you when I reach it.
No, you won't. I'll be dead.
I will.
I'm 65. That's 38 years from now. But when you're 65, they'll make me at 93. I'm gonna be up out of here. You ain't DM me shit.
Well,
Um,
you get what I'm saying.
but my point is, man, you can say that from an ego standpoint. But I need
No,
you to
it's not ego.
listen. I'm not trying to be funny, but think about
No,
it.
understood.
I need you to just listen. $2.4 million, and you make less than 50,000. Where is that money going to come from? Because you said you will have it, and I'm saying, okay, you don't make enough income to generate, to invest, to make residual $2.4 million. Okay, that's the bottom line. Your income is not going to, it is going to do what everybody else who makes less than 50,000, paycheck to paycheck. Then where is the additional money going to come from? And if you can't say that definitively today, you cannot say you'll have $2.4 million. I could not say that. No one could say they're going to have it. You can say you hope to have it, but you can't say you will have it because you're not earning the kind of money out in the world today to stock away that kind of stuff. Appreciate the call though, man. This is good.
Have a good one.
You too now. Bye-bye. You
Bye.
know,
A 28-year-old saying she only wants to invest time in her business and not in a man isn't wrong in terms of priorities, but it creates a clear outcome because relationships require time, attention, and effort. Without that investment, there's nothing to build. This is where Kevin Samuels would step in with a reality check because you can't expect relationship level results without relationship level input. If all your time and energy go into your business, then naturally your personal life will reflect that same focus. The issue isn't ambition. Ambition is a strength. The issue is expectation. If you're not making space for a relationship, then expecting a high-quality, committed partner to appear and stay doesn't align with how things actually work. The truth is, people invest where they feel valued. And if there's no time, no attention, and no emotional availability, most men who are serious about commitment will move on to someone who can offer that. So the real lesson here is simple. You can prioritize whatever you want, but you have to accept the results that come with that priority.